Okay, recently on Amon Ra St Brown's YouTube channel, he has a YouTube channel with his brother. He was recruiting Jalen Ramsey to the Lions, saying, "Hey, if you can hear this, come on over," because he's talking about Pro Bowl and how fun that was and things that going on, the players that he played with, and he's like, "Yo, Jalen Ramsey, I mean, come on." And for us as Lions fans, we know that, yeah, defensive back, huge area, defense in general, but then defensive back. So here's what um, Jalen Ramsey said is Bleacher Report saying, "Hey, if Jalen Ramsey gets cut, where do you see him landing?" The Lions are on this list. Kind of makes sense just because we need defensive help. Could be a good fit for us, and we've got a little bit of cap space. So the the Rams could save over 20 million if they decide to move on from him. He has 2 years left on his 5-year, $100 million contract. So he'll have a $26 million cap hit. The Rams release him, he'll just have 11 million against the cap. So it would make sense that Jalen Ramsey would get cut, possibly traded, but teams know that he's a cut candidate, so you're not going to trade super top assets for him, right? So because they probably need to cut him anyway to get under the cap situation. The Rams cap situation is a mess right now. So you're really not competing of like, hey, we want to really sweeten the pot so that you'll get rid of him and send him to us. More you're competing, it's other teams that might say, hey, we're not going to wait for him to get cut. We're going to give you a second, third, and fourth. I don't know. He'll get more than that, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. So Amon Ra St. Brown was like, dude, come on, let's go. Come to the Lions because we're only going up. He said, we're only going up. Things are bright. Future's looking good. Come to the Lions. And I think he knows. We all know. And that's the thing with like where everything is now with just the transparency and everything that you see online and watching the games and hearing all the reports. We all know we have a great offense. Ben Johnson came back for a reason. Everything's there. Offensively is good, but Jalen Ramsey could really help our defense. And I got one other thing we'll look at, because if we can just get our defense squared away, man, I mean, it would be huge. So if you look at our I'm going to pull up our depth chart basically to look at when we talk about our defense, just look at what we need. I mean, we've kind of looked at this before, but you have defensive line that needs a little bit of help. We've got the pass rushers, but interior defensive line could get you some help. We need some more depth at linebacker. We need a splash player somewhere at these two levels, or we need a splash player or just a really good player in our secondary. Right now, Jacobs, very solid, good player. Jeff Okuda, I still don't know. Nobody does. He played really good, really bad. Last year was kind of his rookie season. Don't know. Owarie's gone. Will Harris, I don't know. Mike Hughes could be gone. CJ, well, you just go around our corners and it's just really light. And then Tracy Walker supposed to be back. Who knows? Deshaun Elliott might be back. Kirby Joseph is in place. Love it. If he hasn't really got going yet. Hopefully next year is a breakout year. So secondaries is just a lot of moving pieces there. Linebacker, we need depth or a splash piece, and then interior defensive line, we need something. So I'm not saying we go after Jalen Ramsey. You let me know in the comments. Should we go after him? It'll cost us, and he's getting older, but he's still a great player. And at this point, do we need to get a little splashy? Give me a splash player. Give me something on defense. I don't know if you can just go with a bunch of okay players. And, Aiden Hutchinson's coming along. He could be a stud. Malcolm could be a stud. James Houston could be. They're not there yet. And when you watch the Super Bowl, you realize you got to have a couple players. You just, on offense, defense, I mean, offensively, we're good. We're innovative, and we got enough to do something offensively. But defensively, man, we're not there. We're not there. If we're really talking like playoffs and deeper runs in the playoffs, right? I mean, this is just kind of uncharted territory for us. But in order to do that, you got to have really good players offensively, defensively, got to be innovative, got to stay semi-healthy, to your key players. So can we do that? I we'll see, right? We'll see. But for me, Jalen Ramsey is a guy that I would not go after just because it's going to cost you a little bit too much. Because if he gets cut, now he's going to want some money, right? And this dude's just not going to like, oh, you know what? The Lions are a cool story. I'll take less and go there. I mean, he wants to go flashy. He wants to go big. He'll go Raiders or something like, can't you just see him going Raiders? I don't see him going Steelers, Bengals, no, maybe Seahawks. But I mean, he's more of like a Raiders, Dolphins, Tampa Bay guy, even warm weather. I don't see him coming here. And then if you trade for him, we just don't want to take away picks from Brad Holmes. At the end of the day, you want Brad Holmes to have as many possible picks as you can. And yeah, I mean, St. Brown sees this dude, wants him, sees him in person. Is like, yes, it's pretty good. But what would it actually take to get him? It's too much. It's too much. And you would have to then give him somewhat of a lengthy contract. He's not going to come to Lions for 1 year. I mean, as much as we love what we have going on, the reason we have that is because we're not doing things like this. We're building a base foundation. And you know what? If we got to stay patient and it takes us another year before we're like really in the playoffs and deep in the playoffs and all that, fine. But I think you can get off track real easy by chasing these really good players that can throw you off kilter faster than than maybe you realize, because they come in, you give up a lot to get them, even draft picks. And that's the thing right now is we have draft picks and we have someone that's actually using them and doing good things in Brad Holmes. And I want to see him keep going with these draft picks because we're not used to it. I mean, we're just not used to hitting on draft picks over and over. And we've really only missed on Levi. That's the only big one that we've missed on. Levi was taken with our second pick in Brad Holmes' first year. That, man, if he can come back semi-healthy, then Brad Holmes really hasn't missed on anything. There's some later rounds or some this, and like if he was a good example, third rounder, he hasn't really done anything, but maybe he'll get going. There's even later round guys like Chase Lucas, 7th round guy that we took last year that coaches love. He's like, he's like weird. Remember him? Talked a lot, but hasn't really played. So I don't want Jalen Ramsey. You let me know in your comments. Is Jalen Ramsey somebody you even look for? I know there's been a lot of talk about it, but St. Brown really wants him, is talking about him. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we will see all of you on the next one.